Yo, what's good? It's your boy Dot from Dot Me Now Coaching and Entertainment. For coaching, my links are down below. In today's video, I really want to tell y'all and help you guys understand how a lot of the stuff that you may be worried about or you think is super deep, it's not really that deep. Some stuff doesn't matter at all, and some stuff does kind of matter, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it does, especially in comparison to other things that you probably should be worried about, which you're likely not worried about. And I know that for a fact, because if you were worried about the things that I'm about to say that you should be worried about, you wouldn't be worrying about these other things that are not that important and that don't really matter. You see? So I want everybody to understand that the things that you focus on inside your life, right? That is going to grow with inside of your life. And I want people to really understand what I mean beyond what some people may talk about normally, right? When you focus on something, right? Like when you focus on things that you're worrying about, you start to plug into that way of seeing things, which is going to make you look in the outside world and even look at yourself and find more reasons to worry about the things which you've already been worrying about. But if you're more focused on having true peace and satisfaction and things of that nature, you'll focus more on that and you'll start to see things through the lens of that. Because most people try to attain things in the outside world or inside themselves because they're trying to experience a certain state of being that they feel like is only going to be experienced if they acquire said thing, right? Like one of the simplest things is how people feel like they need money in order to feel free. And then another big one is the fact that people think they need to be with a significant other in order to feel love. These things are not true whatsoever. Okay? I can tell you guys this for a fact because I felt free without having money and without having a significant other. Now I do have money and a significant other, but I only got those things because I attained it within inside of myself first by experiencing certain states within inside of myself first. And it really goes beyond trying to create a state. It really goes beyond trying to create a certain state in order to get something in your outside reality, mainly because the main focus in your life should just be connecting with your most true and authentic self at all times and simply just truly being yourself. Because when people say be yourself, the reason why that advice usually sucks so much is because they tell you to keep, when people hear be yourself, they interpret that as keep on being the character which you are right now. But that's not even your true self. That's just a character. Your true self is the divine being in the consciousness, which is observing reality through this body. And that divine consciousness and that divine being can literally access all things, and it contains all things within inside of itself. Therefore, it never feels the need to have to go outside of itself in order to acquire something. Because why do you need to go outside yourself to acquire something which you already have? It's not even about trying to, like I said, it's not even about trying to get those things. Like a lot of people be like, oh, I'm going to try to feel this way so that way I can obtain this thing. But you're only trying to feel a certain kind of way to get something outside yourself. It's all for the wrong reasons. You shouldn't be trying to obtain anything. Like even when you say I'm gonna try to feel this way to get this thing, you're already stating that you don't feel that way and that you only want to feel that way because of something that's going on outside of you. So if that thing outside you didn't exist, you wouldn't want to feel that way anyway. You see, you got to really like look at yourself and be like, yo, what do I truly want to experience, right? Beyond just the outside world, how do I want to feel on a daily basis? What do I want my thoughts to be like? And it doesn't have to be geared towards any specific goal, because people always think about, oh, because I want to obtain this, I'm going to start feeling and thinking like that. But you're still letting things outside of you dictate how you're going to be with inside of yourself, which is why all those things that you tend to stress over and worry about, they really don't matter, because what really matters is focusing on who you truly want to be for the most authentic reasons possible. Because once you do that, you're going to focus on that. You're going to see life through that lens, right? If you become naturally more loving and peaceful, you're going to always think about, dang, inside this situation, how can I be more loving and peaceful? And because you're making the effort to be more loving and peaceful in every single situation, your life will naturally become more loving and peaceful, you know? Let's go back to money, since people love money. You know what I'm saying? If you naturally become a person that's free and of value and all these different things like that, you'll naturally see the world through a lens of freedom and being of value and being able to provide value. Because of this, you'll feel more free to do certain things, and you'll always feel like you have some value to offer somebody. And because of that, you'll naturally be put in more situations where you can make more money, because the way you make money is by providing value. Like when you're at a job, you're providing value to the company. When you have a business, you're providing value to the people. Also, when you feel free, you feel more open to do things that sometimes people think they can't do. Like, oh, I can't do that because when you feel free, there's nothing that's holding you back from doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So not only can you do whatever you want, you can also provide value in whatever way you want to. You see, you can literally provide value in whatever way you want to, which means you can literally get money in whatever way you want to. You know what I'm saying? And then you can acquire it. Now, of course, I'm not promoting doing some devious things for money, but you wouldn't want to do that anyway if you feel free also. Most people only do devious things for money because they find there's no other way to get money, you see? But if they realize that they are afraid to get money in so many other ways, they would actually do the other ways most likely, because having to scam people and having to get over on people or do heinous things and stuff like that, it never feels good at the end of the day, unless you numb yourself. But if you numb yourself, you're not even being your true self. You're super far from it now, you know? So, yeah, but when people's just like, oh my God, if I don't do this, then that, and da da da, it's like people gotta chill. It don't matter now. Things that do somewhat matter is your way of living, right? And I say somewhat because that doesn't even really matter anyway. Like this is why like you have monks that just said, yo, I don't even care about a house now, so I'm just gonna go inside the woods and live my life like that. Like some people really just stopped caring about living a certain kind of way simply because they felt like they wanted to do that. Now, some other people abandon their house, then go to the mountains, but they're only doing it because they think that, oh, if I want to be spiritual, I gotta go to a mountain. And that person is not going to enjoy themselves inside those mountains. But there are really people who have decided to up and leave society and live in the mountains simply because they wanted to. They got in tune with their true self, focused on that, and then it grew. So if you get in tune with your true self, and your true self does want to live in a house and things like that, that's going to grow. And I promise you, you will naturally do the things that help you to acquire that. Because if you start falling behind and being able to maintain certain things, it's because you're not being the kind of person who's able to maintain that thing. And you keep on doing things, thinking things, and feeling things that are adverse to the thing that you say that you want to attain inside your life. And the biggest problem is the fact that you're trying to attain things inside your life in the first place and not trying to attain being in tune with your true self. Because if you were in tune with your true self, no matter how the outside reality looked, it literally wouldn't matter. But because you're in tune with your true self and you naturally feel good and you naturally feel confident and you naturally feel happy, you start to just kind of act from these states. And from acting from these states, you tend to be inside of positive situations anyway, because you're just a positive person and you focus on being positive, you know? A lot of the other stuff doesn't really matter, but because you focus on those things, you find more reasons to worry about those things and you create more anxiety. And because you're super anxious and super worried, you can't fully think straight. You can't fully be calm and receive new ideas and stuff like that. You know, you literally are not capable of that. And when most people feel stressed and they feel anxiety, they can't make good decisions and they resort to doing things that are not usually conducive to them. They resort to what they normally know how to do. And if what you normally do isn't helping you inside your life, then constantly resorting to what you normally know how to do is not good. But the thing is, you're more likely going to resort to what you normally do because you're super duper worried and stressed and you can't properly think straight. This is why my discipline series is actually really important, because I talk about these things on my discipline course, you know, like decision fatigue. When you're super duper tired or you feel like you got to make a whole bunch of decisions, you start to just go to the normal status quo. And when you go to the status quo, you go to what you normally do, which isn't always beneficial. Because if what you normally did was beneficial, you wouldn't be worried about shit, because you would have been doing beneficial actions which made your life look good. But clearly you're stressing about some shit, so which means you haven't been doing the right shit. But you're putting yourself in a position to keep on doing that shit, opposed to just really taking time to sit down and detach and connect with who/what you truly are as a divine being that is able to tap into any information that it needs and tap into any state that it needs to be in order to essentially just be happy with inside of itself. And then when you start to act from that happiness and things like that, like I said before, things will get better. I'm telling you, you won't be tripping over shit when you feel good and stuff like that. And then plus, at least I know for me, whenever like I'm just doing the right things, good things happen. You know what I'm saying? And I tend to be in the right place at the right time. You know, like it's just how things happen, you know? So, yeah, I hope you guys take heed to this advice and stop stressing over things that do not matter as much and start to focus on what really does matter, you know? I'm ending this video right here. Love you all. Catch my next video. Peace. Feel free. Out.